Good morning, boys and girls. So today is Tuesday, and today we're going to be doing lesson 16 in our Eureka math books. So right now, just make sure you have your math book and you also have your packet. So since today is Tuesday, you will be doing Tuesday's Do Now. So right now, again, the same thing, pause your video and make sure you time yourself for 5 minutes. And as soon as you're done with your Do Now, you may come back to the video. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself smaller, and I'm going to actually make our Do Now bigger. So again, today is Tuesday, you are working on Tuesday's Do Now. You have 5 minutes. As soon as you're done, you may press play again. Okay, boys and girls, so now that we are done with our Do Now, we are going to begin our lesson. So make sure you have your packet so you write your notes and your key points for today. Alright, so today's lesson is lesson 16. And our objective for today, remember I write, you write. Our objective is construct perpendicular line segments and analyze relationships of the coordinate pairs. So that is what we are going to learn today. The vocabulary that we are using today is going to be number 1, right angle. We need to know what a right angle is. And a right angle is, of course, an angle of 90 degrees. An example, I am going to draw a square. And this right here would be a right angle. And then for number 2, the same one that we've been learning, perpendicular lines, you all should know this one already, that intersect and form 4 right angles. And then for our key points today, which is what we will follow, number 1, we are going to draw the given line segment. Number 2, we are going to plot the given points. And then for the last key point, we are going to solve. Make sure you pause the video if you need more time writing your notes down. Alright, boys and girls, so we're going to go ahead and continue. So now that you're done writing your notes, go ahead and put those on the side where you're still going to be able to reference them. But what I want you to do is you're going to open again your Eureka book, and I want you to go to lesson 16. And I want you to grab the template for that lesson. Lesson 16 template, because that is a template we're going to be using. So go ahead and rip that off. Be very careful when you rip it off. As you can see, I kind of tore mine a little bit. But go ahead and take it out. Okay, so now that you have your template, before we get started, let's look at this graph, because this is the one that we're going to be using. And as you can see, it is actually not complete. It just has the 0, the 5, and the 10. So let's go ahead and write all our missing numbers. So that when we are working, it is a lot easier for us as we plot our numbers. Alright, so now that you have done this, Ms. Rodriguez is going to be writing some numbers here, and she actually wants you to pause this video and plot these numbers on your graph. Remember, this is our x, this is our y. So what I want you to do is I want you to plot these points on your graph. Go ahead and plot them, and when you're done plotting, you press play on the video. Alright, so now that you did your, you plotted your points, we have point A, point B, and point C. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to be using my ruler. If you don't have a ruler, remember you can get just something that has a straight edge. But I'm going to be using my ruler, and I'm going to connect only A and B. And I'm going to pretend, again, that this is a right triangle. And segment A and B is my longest side. So since that is my longest side, I am going to do a dashed line. And I'm going to draw the other side of my triangle. And I want you to do the same. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to form my right angle right here, just to, for it to tell me that it is a right angle. And now what I want you to do is, now we're going to connect A and C. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to pretend that this is my right triangle. So I'm going to do my dashed line. To show my right triangle. So now that you did this, think about what we did. We did exactly what we did on yesterday's lesson. We rotated our triangle. Now I want you to put your finger on A. And I want you to use the table, look at the table, to compare the x coordinates of points A and points B. So look at the x for A and the x for B. And which point has a larger x coordinate? A or B? Yes, B has the larger x because we traveled to the right from point A to point B. We traveled 5 units farther to the right. Now I want you to compare the y coordinate of point A and B. Look at your y. You have 1 and you have 3. And again, think about it. Which point has a larger y coordinate? Yes, also point B. Point B has a larger y because we traveled up from point A to get to point B. This time we traveled 2 units up. Very good. Now what I want us to do is I want us to go to the next graph. We're going to do D, E, and F. Go ahead and go to the next graph. Before we begin, let's make sure our graph is complete. So we're going to go ahead and write in our missing numbers. Remember, this is our x, this is our y. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you point D and point E. And I want you to plot them in your graph. Go ahead and do this on your own and press play when you are done plotting. Alright, now that you found your plots for D and E, it should look like this. We have 2 and 3, 5 and 2. We're gonna go ahead and connect these 2 plots. I'm sorry guys. There it is. Okay, I want you guys to connect them. And the same thing. This is our longest side of our right triangle. So go ahead and do your dotted lines. on your right triangle. Now, think about this triangle. Think about the base units. It has 3 base units, and the height is 1. If I rotate my triangle, that means now my base is going to be how many units? Yes, 1. And my height is going to be what? 3 units. Yes. Go ahead and do it on your own, and then we're going to check to see if you did it correct. Your work should look something like this. You did your dotted lines because we already know if over here our height was 1 unit, now our base is 1 unit. If our base was 3 units here, so now my height is 3 units. So now I can connect these 2 points. And I just found my point F. What is your point F? Yes, the point F is 6 and 5. Very good. Alright guys, now we're going to go to our last graph. Again, before we start, let's make sure our graph is complete. We can see that they're counting by ones, so we know that what's in the middle is going to be half. So go ahead and make sure you finish your graph so that we can continue. So I already go ahead and gave you 2 points. I gave you point G and point H. Go ahead and plot these on your graph, and then you can press play again. Alright, so you should have something like this. Once you do, make sure again you're going to connect your dots. And if this is your right triangle, let's draw our dashed line to show our right triangle. And I'm going to go ahead and do my right angle right there. Alright, so this is G and this is H. I want to find I. So again, we're going to look at the base. Our base is 2 units and our height is 3 units. So now I'm going to rotate it. If I rotate it, if my height was 3, that means now my base is going to be what? 3 units, yes. And if my base was 2 units, now that means my height is going to be what? 2 units. Very good. Those are my 2 units, so that's where I mark my plot. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect these. Now that I connected those, I know this is point I, and I'm going to go ahead and plot it, which is my X is half, and my Y is 2. Alright, boys and girls, now that we did our template, I want you guys to go to your problem set in your book. Your problem set looks like this. You are going to work on number 1. And on number 1, you have several letters. I do not want you to do letter E. You will skip problem or letter E, I'm sorry. You're only going to do 1. You're going to do letter A through D. Do not complete E. After number 1, you're going to go ahead and work on number 2. And you're going to complete your exit ticket. So for this one, again, you only have 2 problems and your exit ticket. But again, do not work on letter E. Alright, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Again, we continue working with perpendicular lines. If you have any questions, please go ahead and reach out to me. And again, do not do letter E, guys. Only do A through D for number 1. Go ahead and work on number 2 and on your exit ticket. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day. Thank you.